stabilizing brace, which is depicted here, when attached here, it turns this weapon into an automatic weapon. It becomes a bump stock. And so it will allow that to essentially be fired like an automatic weapon. That's the danger. So I have to very strongly oppose the amendment.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Well, hearing such outlandish claims really made me think of an outlandish claim that I have heard about the M4, M16, AR-15 family of rifles. And let's talk about that real quick. What is it? Well, while I was deployed to Iraq, we found out about the infamous, the fantastic sniper button. So come with me down this rabbit hole as I explain the sniper button. First off, before I get into this, I do not suggest ever doing this. It's really stupid and it really hurts your gun. But it doesn't blow up like I've heard people say, because I have seen this done a lot. All it does is chew up the forward assist and start messing up the bolt. All it does is end up creating a malfunction to the gun, turning it into basically a single shot. So, where did this come from? The Kurds, believe it or not. While fighting alongside the Kurds, there was a gun during the Iran-Iraq war that was very popular, and it was called the Burno. It was basically a bolt-action Mauser. And this gun had a legendary status among the people, the Kurds anyways. And they believed that while firing an M4 or M16 or AKA freaking AR-15, that when they fired, if they held the forward assist forward, it would give the gun more power, make it more accurate, and turn it into a Bruno or bolt-action Mauser. Why did they think this? And the craziest part of all of this is there's a little bit of truth to it, but not the way you would think. This actually did increase the accuracy of the Kurdish person we were training. The thing that I personally saw, most people when they were shooting, they weren't aiming all that well or all that hard, but when they took up the shot and they were pushing the button, they were focusing much more on the shot. So one of the reasons I also believe that this helped increase accuracy, just coincidentally, was normally when you'd go to the range or you were shooting an AR-15, you would have your hand around the pistol grip and you would be pulling the trigger, right? Now, if you ever go to a long distance range or you do any long distance shooting, one of the techniques a lot of people do is put their hand like this with their thumb on top, because it gives you a better way of pulling your finger straight back without introducing a kind of a rock by squeezing your wrist. So that helps increase accuracy for people who tend to pull the shot. So this might help you if you have that problem. But they were now, since they're pushing this button, they actually have this exact same grip. Their thumb is just up here, and it gives them less chance to rock the gun when they're pulling the trigger. Because of that, every single time, those two coincidences, every time I saw somebody do this, believe it or not, they actually hit their target or they actually scored better on paper. So to us, we could automatically see that, hey, this is because A, they're paying more attention to fundamentals because they want to take a precision shot, and B, the fact that the way they're pulling the trigger is not introducing a pull to the left or the right. And at least while I was there, we couldn't get them to stop doing it. We tried and tried and tried, and they wouldn't stop. So I wanted to tell you guys about the sniper button, and I would love to hear your guys' story if any of you guys ever heard of this before. Especially for us, we were training the Kurdish Iraqi police a lot. At the end of the day, though, it may sound like I'm ragging on the Kurdish people, but I'm not. Much love to the Kurdish people. I loved all the guys I spent time with there. You really, really showed me how you guys do it in Iraq. Unfortunately, at the very end of the Iraq war, as most people know, ISIS stepped up and reared its ugly head. And the atrocities that happened after that claimed most of the people you see in these pictures. Well, sorry for ending the video on such a bad note, but I figured this would be a fun way to tell a story about some of the people that I knew and some of the guys that I'm glad I got to meet. And as always, if God willing, I'll see you in the next one.